two Eternel and, a few Purify and some Revive and stuff. And, uh, and she was talking about the collagen she takes and how she's afraid she's not gonna be able to take it on the plane because she takes powder.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So let me give you a couple samples of the collagen. So I gave those to her and she is so excited. And she's 24. And I said, there is a business opportunity that's attached to this as well. But the products speak for themselves. So I'm on fire. I'm so excited that she was actually excited. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sending her some stuff. She's gonna be in Costa Rica for 10 days, and
Oh,
I have her cell phone already. And so I just it just happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk, but
yeah.
not talk too much. So yes, I'm super excited about that. So I just
Yay,
wanted to share.
congratulations. That's so
Thank you.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And today we're actually going to talk about following up, which you're probably going to need to do a lot of now that she's out of the country. So that's
Yes,
good. That's really good. Congratulations. All
thank you.
right. Thank you, Melissa. All right. Who else would like to share?
I would.
Yep, go ahead.
I was at church on Saturday, and it was funny. I had to go talk to one of my prayer members, and so I'm going, I've got to go talk to her. I've got to go talk to her. So her name's Lori too. So I go up to her and we hug and everything, and she introduced me to her daughter. And it was weird because the Lord kept going, you got to talk to her. You got to talk to her. And I'm going, oh yeah, is this really appropriate to talk here at church and whatever
Right.
else and stuff like, right? Anyway, it was so funny. After we talked and everything like that, she says, I can't believe you're talking my language and whatever else. So we've connected, and two of her daughters are actually in holistic medicine, and we're all in Canada. And
Mhm.
so two of them are just doing their graduate and everything in that. So I'm going, oh my gosh. Let's get
Wow.
you on. So she's already on the three Facebook page, and she's just did my survey, and I'm going, she's excited. So I'm super
Wow.
excited.
Well, it sounds like two really great contacts out of that too, that could be potential, right? That she could bring on board herself and become, she could become QBA right away. She got excited and saw the value. Has she seen the presentation yet?
No.
Oh, this is so new and exciting. I love
Yeah,
that.
she just, as a matter of fact, she finished the survey like 5 minutes ago. So
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is so good. Oh my goodness. So now today you can be like, hey, happy Memorial Day. And also, I just saw that you finished the survey. Is there anything I could do to help you out? You know what I mean? Yeah.
that's
So
right.
send her some links to videos. That's going to be great. Exciting, Laura. Thanks for sharing that. What a great contact. All right. Who else would like to share? We'll take one more share. I'm on your computer. I need to get to the
Hello?
screen, but I don't know.
Adrian will share.
I go. I think Tracy, were you
Oh,
trying to share or?
Yes, I would.
Okay, go
I'd
ahead,
like,
Tracy. Just a second.
hi, I'd like to brag about my dad. He
Yes.
was a steam and diesel engineer in World War II,
Wow.
serving as a merchant marine on degauser ships, to protect the army troops going over.
Amazing. Wow,
Great,
Tracy.
thank you.
Yeah. What was your dad's name?
Peter Everett Loftus.
Thank you, Peter Everett Lostis, for your service. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. That's pretty incredible. Yeah. Oh my
Thank you.
goodness. All right. Who else would like to share? Frida, you were going to share?
yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah, Gary and I have been on the road
On the phone?
since
On Zoom.
April 30th,
Okay.
and just working the business in addition to working in two college graduations. But guys, I just want to share with you how much fun it is to go from state to state to state to state to state building this business. We have had phenomenal results. We have met so many people we didn't even know, never laid eyes on before. And our phone is blowing up today from all the contacts because we kind of told everybody to reach out to us after Memorial Day. Well, they're reaching out to us on Memorial Day. This
Wow.
morning, we've already shared the compensation plan twice. We've got people they're literally reaching out to us. We're not having to reach out to them. And it's all in the posture and how we approach them.
Mhm.
And I just want to share with you guys, you got your hands on a gold mine.
Mm. Yeah, it is a gift for sure. And it is exciting, right? You know what I mean? And people are, what our business is, again, I'll say it like I'll say it. Our business is counter-cyclical, and you made a really good point. When most people are not working, we sometimes are still on the job because that's when they're available, like on holidays and, on weekends and in the evenings, things like that, right? And it's not like it's 24/7 and you never get a break. You get bigger breaks on the times that they're plugging in hours for a 9 to 5, unless you're doing both, which I've done. So I understand. But at the same time, it's just prioritizing that and remembering that today, yeah, people are available, they're free, and you want to continue to follow up with them today. And that really brings us into our topic. And so I love that the posturing is bringing the people to you and that they're connecting with you again on a day that they're off. So that's amazing because it shows that that's when we work in the pockets of our schedule, in the pockets of our life, and sometimes holidays for sure. Okay, George used to always say to me, I always wanted to go on vacations during holiday times. And George is like, no, we need to go on vacation on the off times because then we get a bigger discount and we need to work while people are off on vacation. So George and I,
That's
we used to
exactly
argue
right.
about that.
We're sitting here today on this beautiful Ocean Isle beach, watching the traffic exit the beach, and we get to stay for 4 days.
Yes, exactly. Oh, can you get the door for her? Yes, exactly. That's so true. So we'd always take it in the off season and but still get to hang out. Just yeah, we put a few hours in, so that's good. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, well, I'm not going to take too much of your guys' time today, but I am going to go over some things about following up and using the tools to follow up. Remember, we always say, don't be a fool, use a tool. So you guys have a list. You have a list of names that you're working off of. You guys are excited to share that with other people, what we have. And all of a sudden they kind of like stop chatting for a bit, right? They've seen an initial thing, they've seen a video, they've been on a Zoom, you've sent them a tool, right? And now it's time to follow up. So if it's been more than 24 hours, today you need to follow up. Okay, the reason I say that is the team standard for follow-up is no more than 48 hours max. You're like, well, they told me that they weren't going to be free till next Tuesday. I know, but we're not giving them a week for you to check in. Does that make sense? So 48 hours means, hey, it was so great chatting with you the other day. Just wanted to send out this other little piece of okay, a link, something. Okay, we keep dripping on them through the follow-up process until they say yes. So follow-up, we always say the fortune is in the follow-up for a reason. The reason the fortune is in the follow-up is because we only make money two ways. When they enroll with a set of products or when they enroll somebody with a set of products, right? Somebody in your team enrolls somebody. So there's only two ways we make money. They order something or somebody they know is ordering something. Somebody in your team's ordering something, right? So we follow up until. And so what I will tell you is, sorry, okay. What I'll tell you is that the most important piece is making sure that you close the deal on a regular basis. And so you've got to be ABC, always be closing. All right, so we have some tools that I want to just share with you guys. And it's right on, let me see. Sorry, I'm using George's computer today. So wish me luck. He's like, it's got a million tabs open. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get to, there we go. All righty. Okay, so we are on our legacymakers.com. And if we come in here to the business training, okay, you're going to scroll down and it talks about step 4, follow up daily with a mentor. So the reason I say with a mentor is because it really helps with posturing, closing, taking the order. If you're brand new and you've never closed somebody, if you've never written out an order form, if you've never done anything like that, it's very important that you follow these steps and you do it with your mentor, with your sponsor, the person who brought you on board. So what I do is I come in here and I pull this follow-up call guide. Okay, so this is a proper head to toe, like the way, okay, follow-up guide on how to do a 3-way call to follow up, how to basically help close them. So this follow-up guide is really the Connect calling guide. I'm going to try to ramp it up here for you. Okay. And why are these important? Because you're looking for third-party validation and social proof. Now, see, some of you guys have gotten somebody on a Zoom call. They see the team, they've seen a presentation, but they haven't done anything after that. Why? Because you didn't bring them to that next step. You've got to get them on a call with an upline leader, with a third party, somebody who has a success story that you know that they're interested in. Okay. So a lot of times when we do follow-up, it's because you need to bring in a third party. And some of you guys are not. Some of you guys are so good. You've done this for a really long time, like Gary and Freda. They are each other's third party. Do you know what I mean? Like they're working together. Well, my husband has this experience. Here, let me have you talk to Gary. And Gary takes the order. You know what I mean? Things like that. So you can work like that in tandem. Okay, but you want to leverage the experience of your sponsor and let the new brand ambassador.
Honey.
I just spilled coffee. Can you grab that? Sorry, hold on. Or just, thank you. Or just shut the door. Sorry, I was reaching to shut the door. Okay, so somebody who has a different skill set, who has a different knowledge base. Maybe they've had more experience than you in the industry. That's exactly who you want on the call. Somebody who has had some more experience. Okay. And so when they come in, these connect calls, the purpose of them is that you invite the prospect to connect to a connect call with your sponsor and upline leader after they've expressed some interest. So it's really quite simple. It might be something like this. Hey, Laura, I saw that you took a look at the link that I sent you the other day. I don't know how much of the call you were able to see. It was an incredible call, but I really would love to introduce you to my business partner, Adrienne. She's had a lot of experience in this industry, and I think she could help answer a lot of questions you might have after having seen that. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that, Laura. I barely watched the video. It's okay. It'd be good networking. Let's just jump on the call together. I'd be happy to facilitate it. You know, say something like that and get them on the call. And we'll go through that in a second. But everybody's the highlight reel. So if Gary and Freda were my sponsors, I would be putting as many people on follow-up calls with them as possible to help me do the work. Does that make sense? Because I need them to get plugged in. I need them to make Gary and Freda. Well, if you did get excited, Laura, I would still want you to meet my business partners, Gary and Freda. They're incredible human beings. They have like hearts of gold, and they've been doing this a long time. I think it'd be great if we just jumped on a quick call and, they share a little bit about why they said yes. That's all it is. You're just creating that third-party validation, okay? And your sponsor is going to ask your prospect questions like, "Oh, what have you seen so far? What do you like about 3 so far? What do you see 3 doing for you in your life?" You know what I mean? Things like that. They're going to ask questions that you might not be ready to ask if you're brand new, right? You might not know. You might not feel confident enough asking some of those questions. And so that's the purpose of using this call guide, okay? And so I even show you how to do a 3-way call on your phone in case you don't know how, just like what it looks like, right? And then what's a good call script for our legacy makers. Okay, schedule the connect call. The most important thing is scheduling. And then this part is edification of your sponsor, and share their success story to provide further validation of the opportunity and what's possible. When you edify, you establish your leader as a credible source, and you give meaning to why your guests should be open to listening to them. So even if you're both brand new in the business, let's say, George is my sponsor and he's only been in for 6 months more than me. All right. It doesn't matter. I'd be like, you've got to listen to George Ruiz. He's a former realtor. He loves wellness. He's going full time in this. He's going full time. I'm putting out his goal. He's going full time in this. And he's just honestly such an incredible guy. I would love for you to connect with him. Do you see how, like, I'm just going to edify him, because if not, anything that comes out of his mouth isn't going to provide value on that follow-up call unless they know why they should listen. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So edification is so important. My biggest pet peeve was when I get on a call and I tell people, like, you need to edify me. Not because you think I'm special, Nicole, or something, like, not because you think I'm special, like Nicole knows me in and out, right? No, it's because when they edify, the whole call goes differently. When you edify on a follow-up call, what happens is that guest or prospect now sees that you see value in this person, so they should probably listen and respect their opinion too. That's the whole purpose of edification. It's not for you to, like puff up your sponsor's ego. You know what I mean? It's there so that it's there to place credibility on anything that comes out of their mouth afterwards. Okay. Like Adrienne really knows what she's doing. She's been doing this for a long time. So we're going to go through this together. So George, you're going to be Phil. You're going to be Phil. Phil is the sponsor sharing. Okay. You're Phil. I'm going to be the brand partner. All right. So I'm going to say something like, hi, Adrienne. Oh, wait. Hi, Adrienne. This is Chris. I have my friend Phil. Okay, so I'm prospecting myself here in this case. Okay. The prospect is Adrienne. Okay. Hi, Adrienne. This is Chris. I have my friend Phil on the line. And then they usually say, hi, Phil. And then I might say this. Phil is an incredible businessman and is very well networked in the Metro Detroit area. I might say something like that. I told him our business is rapidly expanding there, and I wanted to introduce him to you. Phil, this is my business partner, Adrienne. Oh, just kidding. Phil's the guest. I don't know how I got that backwards. Phil's the guest. Okay. Adrienne, who's going to share more with you about our business that's expanding in your area. Adrienne's a great leader who will be able to share with you her perspective and answer any questions you have today. Okay. So then the sponsor would come in. George, you're going to be me. Say hi, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Great. Yeah. No. Yeah. Great to talk to you today.
No.
Okay. Great to talk to you today.
It's great to talk to you. I'm thrilled to share more with you. Chris told me great things about you before the call, and I feel like if I know you already. Now, before I get started, I would like to hear what intrigued you the most about what you heard so far.
Yeah, or our opportunity.
An opportunity.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You don't
So
have to say it.
when you're doing a follow-up, we're assuming they've already seen something.
A
Okay.
video.
We're assuming they've taken a look at a video, a link, a presentation. They've already seen something. All right. So then the guest shares. The guest will share like what they've seen and what they like and whatnot. Okay. And then go ahead, George. This is do you
Thank you
think?
for sharing. I would like to have a few minutes to share our business with you and when I got started. Afterwards, I would love to hear what question you have and let you guide the conversation from there. Does that sound okay for you, Phil?
Yeah. And so then the sponsor is going to share the packages, the success story, their package success story, their background, how they were introduced to the company, why they decided to join, what the company is doing for them. They're going to weave in their story. You guys getting the picture? You're going to zip it. You're going to be quiet because now the sponsor and Phil are having a conversation, and that was your one job, was to get them on a call with a third-party credibility leader. Do not interrupt in any way, shape, or form, even if you think you're going to add value. The reason that is as soon as you say something, you interrupt this follow-up guide, this follow-up schedule, and all of a sudden the person's they're like all over the place. Wait, do I listen to Adrienne? Do I listen to whatever, whoever the sponsor is? Who am I listening to? So do not interrupt to save your life and to save the sale. Okay. All right. So here we go with that. Oh, and so then George is going to say this. With that,
we would love to pass the call back over to you and ask any question you have about the products and how you would like to start in the business. And then
answer questions.
Objection. Something that I was going to say, by the way, many people, two things. The first one, the reason you have to introduce us is because if not, when you are putting, hey, I have George here in the call. George, take it over. People say, who the heck is George? Why is it so important? It's so important that you always acknowledge the person. Very important. The second thing, don't try to correct the person that's talking.
Even if they're wrong, even if they give a wrong date, like if they give the wrong dates for convention, do not correct. You'll send them later, okay?
No, because I heard, for example, one time I was saying, we have about $100 million in sales. No, George, you're wrong. It's 120. As soon as you say you disqualify the person that's doing it. And that happened, by the way. That's the reality. That happened.
Yeah.
And I say over 100 million, this person, no, you're wrong, it's 120.
Yeah, do not correct.
Do not, shut up.
Okay, just shut it. Right. Okay, so here's the thing. So at the end of the conversation, I like to ask them, based on what I've shared with you today, what intrigues or excites you the most? See, we're going through the closing questions. There's 2 documents in the business training. And as far as follow-up, this one where you get somebody on the phone and you edify them, the next one are these closing questions. Wouldn't it be better to have your upline leader go through the closing questions for you? Yes, it would. So that's why we're saying you need to do a 3-way call to follow up. Okay, So, do you have a personal interest in learning more about the opportunity or the products? If they don't have an interest, say, do you know anyone who would be interested? So, the reason this is kind of like this in this script format is so that you can do this for your team members. At the same time, you need to make sure that it's done properly. So, if they're interested in the product, like literally, I go into this, we can make a proper product recommendation for you now. Da da da. Do you feel like you have this will flip you over into that next guide, which is the closing questions and taking the order. This one, if they're interested in getting started in the business, all right, getting started is quick and easy. Do you have a few minutes so we can walk you through the enrollment now? So you're helping them open an account. Oftentimes, I think we get really discombobulated as far as like product and business. Either way, they need to open an account. They need to pay the $30 and become a BA, right? So the purpose is like let your upline leader take you through the order process, especially if it's your first time. Let them ask those questions, but you need to be ready. You need to have a pen, a piece of paper out. You need to have an enrollment form ready to go. Before every follow-up call I did, my first mentor told me, before we jump on and we do follow-up calls that you booked, do you have at least 5 to 10 enrollment forms printed out in front of you? And I was like, yes, I do. So every single time he went into taking the order, I didn't even think, I was writing. I was writing their address, writing their credit card, writing their information, da 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 da. And then I had an order form at the end of it. And he goes, okay, go put that order in. I'll see you on the next call. Right? So he's helping walk them through that ordering process. Now, if they say, I'm not ready yet, or I'm not there yet, or I'm still thinking about it, or I'm da da da. Okay, what other questions do you need answers to? Tell me more about that. What if anything concerns you the most? Oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I don't have this, or I need more information on this. Okay, your upline leader is going to walk you through that process. I always say if they're not interested at all, thank them for their time. Say, if your situation ever changes, I want to be the first phone call that you make. Add them to the team newsletter list and team Facebook groups or whatever. Add them to wherever you guys are, connected, and have them become a part of the audience watching what you do. Remember, we talked about this on Friday, Social Media Friday, where we have that group. If you guys want to plug them in, it's very product focused, but we do have that Facebook group if they want to learn more. Okay. And then always ask for referrals. So even if your upline doesn't ask for a referral, you should ask for a referral. Yes, I do believe all good business is a referral business. And candidly, I'd appreciate any referrals. If you replace every no with a referral, your contact list will never run dry. So you're going to follow up until, and then I always say 2 per day, 2 follow-ups per day, 10 in play. What does that mean? 2 per day, 10 in play. Now we're doing 3 per day, correct? Because we're in 3. So 3 follow-ups per day, 10 in play, which means you guys have another 10 people that you're going to be following up with, because they're all at different points in the timeline of how you're recruiting them, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to share this other, actually I'm not. I'm going to keep this up and I'm going to share this other guide where it talks about closing scripts and overcoming objections. All of this is in the follow-up guide. Okay, so these are things that I've actually texted these to people, like when I'm talking to people online. If I feel like they'd be ready to order based on the links and the information I sent, I'm not probably going to get them on a call. I'm going to attempt to close them myself, right? So I would literally send this document. What did you like the most? I'll text it. What are your goals at the moment? What are you currently doing to reach that goal? What are you struggling with the most? Do you feel that you have enough information to get started now? I'd love to help you open your account. Name, I would love to make a recommendation for you that would fit perfect for your goals and budget. Let me ask you a couple of questions so I can see which system would benefit you most, right? So this is, you guys, I've literally closed people via Messenger. They give me their information via Messenger, and I've opened accounts that way. Okay. I've also done it to where they're like, well, I'm not comfortable giving that over the phone, but I do want to open an account. And then I'll say, you can email it to me or you can private text me. I'll literally do that. I will take the order any way I can take the order in the follow-up. Or I'll say, I think now would be a great time for us to jump on a quick 6-minute phone call. I could just quickly take your information. We'll get your order in and then we'll send you the welcome email. I'm just literally boom, 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 taking the order. Okay. All right. I just realized this still says Founders Pack. I'll change that. Okay, but you come in here and it talks about like what's in the packs. I need to update this with the Pro Collection pack, but the others are still somewhat okay. And they're still within the same price point and ranges. So you guys can literally say, I think this breaks down to this, da, da, da. You guys can send this to them, copy, paste, send, take the order, take the order. Okay, I know exactly what to ask, whether I have an enrollment form in front of me or not. Does anyone else? You guys know exactly how to open an account? It's super easy. Okay. So it's just name. You don't even need their social security anymore. Remember, who's here remembers when we used to have to take a social security and people would freak out. They'd be like, what? What do you need my social security for? Right. So we used to have to ask like crazy questions. Now it's just very simple what you see on the screen. I don't let people create their own username and password. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. I create their username and password and I send it to them on their welcome email. And then I give them assurances. Right? I say, I'm going to be texting this to you after. I'm going to text you a welcome letter. You can read through the documentation. You'll get one from the company as a receipt for your order. You'll get one from me for our team to get plugged into our team. And I send the welcome email. So that after I take the order, at the end of every single time I take the order, I'm always giving those what are called assurances. Okay, so now they know I just gave you my credit card info. I barely know you. What do I expect next? If you don't give that to them, it can feel sketchy. And if you're like bouncing around and you're like, you know, taking the order like sort of haphazardly and it gets kind of scary. Have you guys ever been on a phone call with somebody? It could be an insurance agent or something like that, where you're taking your information and you're like, okay, and what's next? Does anyone ask what's next? Yeah. I'm always like, oh, they just took my info. What's next? It's okay. I'm going to email to the email you sent me, da, 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 right? So you're going to give those assurances. Okay. So it's 10 o'clock. It's the top of the hour. I know I skimmed through that. I really would love for you guys to check those documents out. I will put them in the chat. Oh my gosh. Should I close out the whole page again? I'll put them in the chat. Okay. It's step four on the perfect start. And I know I flew through it, but I think you guys just need to reach out to a few people today and start the beginning questions of that. Okay, so here in the chat is the perfect start. Step 4, follow-up. Okay, now if you haven't reviewed that in a while, I definitely would. I would go back through what we just went through and I would get more comfortable with the flow of how a call should go. I would get really comfortable with edification. Just FYI, every time I do a phone call with a leader that's above me, or that I'm getting on a phone call, or I'm, you know, interviewing for any type of an event, every week, every time I interview Dr. Dan, I ask him how he wants to be introduced again. Because I don't know what's changed, right? That's a pro move. Okay. So you always want to edify people where they're at. So anytime, if I were to jump on a call and I was bringing in, you know, George or whatever, I'd be like, George, how do you want me to introduce you? I'll introduce him the way I know best, but I'm still going to say, what do you think? This is what this guy is about. He's a business guy. He's done this, da, 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 da. What do you think is the most important part of your story that you want me to share with this guy to create edification? I will ask that. I want to know. So you might ask your upline leader or your sponsor in the business, hey, I've got, you know, Rachel on the phone. She's she's tried some other network marketing companies. They didn't work out for her. Is in real estate currently right now. Time is an issue for her. She's very busy, but she's also struggling to close more deals than she did before. So George, I already know what he's going to say to me, but he would say to me, well, make sure you let her know that my background is in real estate, that I'm a business guy, and that I've earned over $9 million in this industry, right? Those are key things for me to know on how to edify George on the follow-up. Okay. So, I know we kind of hit hard today on the follow-up. Any other things you want to share?
No, the important thing, by the way, is that the edifying part is super important. And of course, after the person say no, asking for referrals. By the way, I usually prefer, instead of saying, who do you know that is interested, to say, who do you know that likes to be in great shape, that would like to make extra money and have business? The reason is because sometimes when you ask, who do you know that who is interested, the person is not interested, and is gonna think that everybody's like him or her. And that's why I prefer to go a little more specific. But the edification is so important. So important to edify.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions about what we went through today? You guys are follow-up experts, right?
I know many of you are ready for having a barbecue.
I know everyone's like, I got it. I'm going to send some text messages. I'm going to book some follow-up calls. I'll see you after the barbecue. Okay. All right, you guys. Okay. So let's go out. Let's have a great day. Follow up with your call to action for today is send out at least 3 messages to follow up. Maybe there's somebody who's been on your mind for a while. You meant to follow up with them last week. You haven't yet. Wish them a happy Memorial Day and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'd love to circle back about 3 when it's appropriate. Let me know when you're free next. Okay. So send out 3 messages. Okay. Today, 3 people in your organization and in your team that, not in your team, sorry. Well, it could be, you know, send out 3 messages. Hey, have you considered going to convention yet? Did you book your convention ticket, right? You know, things like that. So reach out. You're going to follow up with 3 people today on things that need to get done. All right, my friends, have an amazing day. And again, you guys, that was so much fun. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for sharing with us more about your family and your family that served our country. And that was really, I love hearing those stories. So that was really neat today. So go enjoy your family, follow up with 3 people, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good